Hello, you're with the Single Malt Review as we try some more rum. This time, we're back in India for the first time in a long while.
Yeah.
For some, we're up in the northern state of Uttar Pradesh for some rum from Mohan Meekin Distillers.
I feel I should introduce one with the story of how I came to own this one. I was just sort of doing a trawl for a rum. I knew I wanted a rum, and there was this one that was just conspicuously cheap. And so I was reading it as 42.8%, totally made up strength though that is.
Oddly specific number.
It's better than 40 or sub 40 like a great many rums are. And it was just so cheap. Couldn't understand how cheap it was. And it wasn't until I got home and really delved into it here that I realised it was Indian rum. And that's why it was so cheap, because Indian rum, not a beverage of tremendously high repute, but there is a huge quantity of Indian rum, and Indian whiskey for that matter, produced. It's just almost all consumed domestically. There's this enormous market for it in India, and goodness knows there's enough people to drink it there, so it mostly just doesn't really see the international light of day. But this, I think, actually slightly creepy fellow, I'll give you the close-up here.
The Old Monk is this, in fact,
This,
Old Monk rum.
Strange spectre, which you have to then subsequently, that's not going to do it, behead to even get into it. I don't even know what you're supposed to do with this, drink out of it or something crazy. I don't know, I'm just going to put it over here. It's just quite weird. It's made by Mohan Meekin Limited, who are sort of, I think, still Indian-owned spirits and brewing and other conglomerate. And it's just sort of smouldered away there in India. It's quite a long-standing product they've made over there. But it's news to me, and as I said, can be bought for extremely little money. And I want to preface the review with that. Extremely little money, because this is not a fine rum, as is going to become fairly evident.
Well, the odd thing that struck me first on this label was the for sale in UAE country only.
Yes, so something's already gone a bit wrong there, because in the UAE, in the United Arab Emirates, we are not. So this bottle's gone a wee bit lost. But that said, we were looking at one just a few reviews ago that said it was some microscopic amount of standard drinks. So bottle labels not infallible.
Right, this is the Old Monk Supreme Triple X rum, very old vatted.
Yeah, so as far as their stuff goes, this is the good stuff.
There are no qualifiers on what very old or vatted or Triple X equates to in this context. The label is silent on those fronts. Yeah,
their standard stuff is 7 years old, so we'll assume a wee bit older than that, although nothing terribly specific. And I suspect Dave is going to make a series of faces here, because though I have tried this rum, Dave has not, and it's
I've smelled
an experience.
Yeah. It's
I'll put the head back on,
clergyman here.
There we are.
Keep it decent. Alright.
So, there's two things this rum makes no bones about, and you can probably guess what they are.
Is it rum, or is it just store-bought vanilla essence in a rum bottle?
Well, that's the thing. It's rum, I'm certain it's rum, that much is true, but calling it conspicuously sweet and conspicuously vanilla added would be kind of understating it. It is, frankly, it is wild just how much this smells of vanilla essence, actual vanilla essence.
It smells like about using a cake or on pancakes.
Yeah, there is, and I'm fairly confident to state this professionally. There is no way in hell you'll get this much vanilla nose off cask influence. There is no way to do it. I have tried really old bourbons, which are just about the most strongest spirit that spent the longest time in the freshest bourbon, and they don't come close to how much this smells of just vanilla extract. It is really wild. And the second thing it smells of is sugar. Heaps and heaps and heaps of sugar.
Yeah.
The colour is pretty jolly dark. Whether that's from that could actually, being as dark as it is, that could be from the sugar that they have added. If they've added darker sugar, that would tune the colour down. So either way, I'm going to say the colour not particularly natural. Chill filtration, I have no idea. Kind of doesn't matter when you're dealing with rum of this calibre. But anyway, like I say, I want to come back to this. It was extremely cheap. So I want you to keep that in your minds, so it doesn't look like we're just blasting this rum. This was one of the most affordable things I've ever bought. So, that's on the nose. It really contains only 3 things: vanilla, sugar, and alcohol.
Oh, God, excuse me. Ah, wow.
Wow is a really good first tasting note. It is so vanilla-y, and the vanilla is so artificial and just so real that it's almost baffling that they would even make it.
Yeah.
I don't know how this came together. Maybe there's a local palate for this sort of thing, because I mean we've had another extremely disappointing rum. We've had the Angostura 7 years old,
which was outrageously sweetened and tasted of vast excesses of extra vanilla.
Huge amounts of vanilla, huge amounts of sugar, and practically nothing else. This one, in its defence, it at least has quite a deep, dark flavour to go along with it. So the vanilla is, at least you can kind of imagine you're having like a really, really syrupy cake or something with it. It's not just vanilla floating on the surface, but it's still just the brazen nature with which it tastes of.
It is really just like
vanilla.
golden syrup mixed with vanilla essence. There is really not much else going on in this. Alcohol, certainly, which you get in vanilla essence bottles anyway. I'm almost lost for words on this.
And right on the edge there is another flavour note kind of orbiting these incredibly loud flavours, but it's not great because it's kind of like a plasticky taste.
Oh.
Like a warm plastic, as if it's been kept in a plastic drum or something like this.
Well, the monk's head and cowl are in fact solid plastic.
They're under a metal lid though, so
so hopefully that's not contributing too much.
I don't think that's what's
leaching into the
going on. But there is a distinct plasticky thing. So this is really weird. This is what we normally don't review, because we only have so much of a budget. And we only have so much of a space and ability to drink things before we just turn into skeletons or whatever. So this is why we don't review things that are just balls out bad products on the single malt review, because there's simply no time. And ultimately we're into recommending things, not... If we were out to... That would be a whole other different channel if we lived to warn people off different types of liquor. That's probably a niche there, actually. That's something that people could fill. But that's not the life I want to live. I don't want to live and die by drinking bad things and telling people why they're bad. I want to enjoy what I'm drinking and tell people what I enjoy. So it's unusual that we'll get stuff like this. I really wonder what else there is to say. It is phenomenal, and it is weirdly alien that it's just such a brazen thing.
Yeah, it's comical in a way. It's entertaining in the sense that it's actually funny.
Yeah. It's weird and baffling and impossible to understand in the way that you go to some of these developing countries and they are weird and baffling and impossible to understand. Just the sheer rinky-dink shit that goes on. You think, these things can't possibly happen, and yet they do. And
India is a wildly varied country. Some of the best whiskey in the world is coming out of India now.
They certainly have. I mean, we've reviewed some of them.
They have a space program. We don't.
And it's just... I think it's just an artefact of where it's produced and when it's primarily consumed.
Well, it is for sale in the UAE. To buy alcohol in the UAE, you need to have a license. You need to buy your license to purchase alcohol.
Well, depending on where you are, I suppose.
You have to be a foreigner who's in the country, probably usually on business. This is the case, and you have to apply and actually pay money for a privilege to buy a license for alcohol consumption. They are a Muslim majority country where alcohol is quite heavily frowned upon, but they accept that, if you're not from those parts and not of that faith, alcohol is what you do. You pay money, you get the license to buy it.
Yeah.
And
So
it's on your own head.
if you haven't gathered by this point, this is not good rum. This is actually quite archetypically bad rum. It almost represents to a T everything that's wrong with the rum industry. But I'll go back to what I said at the very start. This was mega cheap. Mega cheap in a way that was I almost couldn't understand in our market. And in terms of the alcohol you get in the bottle, it's kind of cheaper than vodka. Because vodka would only be 40%. And in many cases, more money. So it knows its position in the market, and it's, I suppose you could say, hits that. Potentially this was made for mixing only, and I just wasn't aware. I hate rum mixers. I absolutely hate them. I will drink a daiquiri with white rum. I do not want anything like a Cuba Libre, get it away. Don't like dark rum mixers. So I was never going to do that with this. But it's, if you assume a certain state of mind, that's I merely want to drink something, you can get into a place, or at least I can, and I'm very flexible in this regard, where you can kind of drink this and it's okay. But that's the best I could possibly say about this. The real test is whether this is going to beat the bad score for the 7-year-old Angostura monstrosity, because ultimately I think that rum was far worse because it was such a disappointment, because it was supposed to be a good rum, Angostura.
They have an established reputation in the liquor business.
They weren't some, not even bootleg. There is no such thing as an Indian bootleg. It's just plain old mega budget, probably just for the Indian market, dodgy rum. So at least this one doesn't try to claim that it's anything else. I have handily forgotten exactly what mega low scores we gave to the Angostura.
Do we even score it? It was just too far out. I think I didn't score it personally. Maybe it was too far outside of my experience as a human being.
Maybe you refrained. But yeah, this one I am going to score, because I think the score needs to be out there, because this is an international product. It is out there. It shouldn't get away with it. I just think people should be aware.
Yeah, this is made for the international market. This has travelled many thousands of miles to reach us here in New Zealand. It's gone most of the way to the UAE. Then for some reason, ships turned around and come down to us.
Yeah, who knows what
there are some serious food miles on here.
Pirates, maybe. But,
ecological footprint.
Yeah, this one is going to get really close to that 50-point barrier to me. That 50 point is when if something is under 50, it's actually offensive to drink. 0 is, and we keep swearing we'll do our
how do we score
things, and I'll get the bottle of meths out and yada yada. 50% is the absolute tipping point to, do I want to drink it, or do I actually want to throw this away? And this is going to come bloody close. This is a 59 for me. It is 9 points above undrinkability. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to go somewhat lower. The way I view scores is this. 0%, utterly bad, no redeeming characters. 100%, perfect, it cannot be improved upon.
So
50%, right in that middle there, it is neither wholly good nor wholly bad. Once you go above 50%, there are things that are good about it. Once you're below 50%, there are things that are bad about it. This one is a 45. It is more bad than good by quite a margin. It's not undrinkable. Obviously, I managed to force them down before and tried a few more sips just to see what would happen. It is sweet and it tastes of vanilla. Those are things which are facts about this, in my opinion, and they are, not bad. On the whole, though, this is bad rum that tastes mostly bad.
Yeah, it's
not devoid of qualities, but they're
I'll say it once again. It's really, really, really cheap, but it is not good rum, and I think we have done it due diligence there in explaining why it is not good rum.
Yeah.
But you do get, dearie me, you do get a weird plastic head to play with.
Yes.
That should not be undervalued. The now that I look at it, face of strange, vivid in despair has a very hand-drawn quality, so maybe the plastic monk knows. I don't know. But probably, I think, one to avoid, unless you're making like a big punch for frat party or something like that. That might go down a treat. But
Well,
you
I
can
must
say
say,
this.
this has fired a certain curiosity for me. This is their, what the heck do they call it? Their supreme, very old vatted rum. So do they make a more standard unvatted or...
They do.
like,
They do. This is the good stuff.
Oh, God. Right. Okay.
You can buy the standard.
Yeah.
I probably won't, even though I know where it comes from. Yeah, well, we'll say this. Record setting.
Yes.
Never have the scores been so low than Old Monk Supreme XXX Rum Very Old Vatted. Also, what a name. That's
No, we don't
astonishing.
normally see Triple X associated with anything fit for YouTube, so...
Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I drank it. I slightly regret drinking it, but...
Well, we will live another day, and we will review something else another day of conceivably higher quality than this. But if you have managed to stick with us all the way down the hole, then I congratulate you. You have worked very hard, as we have, reviewing this very, very interesting rum. I hope that was fairly informative, even if a cautionary tale, if nothing else. This has been the Single Malt Review. If you have not gathered thus far, this was our last whiskey of the weekend. We have done 7, so we have worked extremely hard for all
Been a
you
busy
people.
afternoon, certainly.
Yep, we're going to have a lie down now, and then I will produce these videos and hopefully bring them to the world when you will be watching them. Slanja,
Slanja.
keep safe. Good to see you all. Tune back in sooner or later. We'll be right back.